Hello and welcome to my porch in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm out here smoking my little cigar, drinking my coffee, watching it on and off rain, people running back after sudden downpours who are out walking their dogs. Luckily, I have an umbrella on my table in my on my porch. It's the first floor, so the patio above is over me, but it's got slats, so it pours down here too. Um, but that's what the umbrella's for. I seem to be the only person who's been able to figure out that you can actually have that kind of thing here, even in the first floor apartment. While I'm smoking my cigar, of course, and drinking my coffee, preparing to do my caregiving, first part of my active caregiving of the day. And I was thinking about this today because we're battling these seasonal allergies that are kicking our butts out here. I have air purifiers in the house. I have one in the bedroom, my dad's bedroom, my bedroom, and the living room. And I also replaced the air cooling, the HVAC system filter myself, buy my own filters, better quality, not the top of the line. I don't need the top of the line because I got air purifiers. But here's something I learned over the years about that. Air purifiers have no strength to draw things to it. I mean, there's a slight pull, but if there's no air movement, it can't draw the stuff to it. And your filter in your AC unit or whatever, it does nothing unless the air is being moved to draw. So what happens is your air comes on and the fan kicks on and you feed it through the vents. And as soon as the temperature reaches a certain point, it shuts off and you don't feel that air coming anymore, right? Well, that's because, and most of us don't have smart homes, at least I think most of us don't, where you have sensors in every bedroom that dictate temperature. You're relying on a little box in your hallway to determine when things come on or off. That means you're dependent on the temperature in the hallway for when it comes on or goes off. And there are no vents in the hallway. Notice that. It's in every other room. So that system only kicks on when that temperature around the box gets a certain point. That's why you've got a cold bedroom and a hot bedroom, maybe. And you notice you get dust. Because when the air's not moving, dust settles. Air's moving, it gets moved around. More of it gets moved around and gets pushed to the air purifiers, which filter it out, and the HVAC filter, which filters it out. So, on your box it says heat, probably says heat, cool, off, and then over here it says a fan. On or auto. Auto means it only turns that fan on when the heating or the cooling kicks on. That's like starting your car. Every time that kicks on, it uses up a little extra push to use more gas, more electricity, or more of the cooling system, whatever. So what I learned is this: turn your fan from auto onto on. That means the fan is running all the time. That means there's consistent temperature all throughout your apartment or your house. And that means you're going to have air moving in the hallway too, which will give a real estimate of what the temperature in the house is. So it knows if you got your AC set at 73, when it gets to the point where it needs to kick on, it kicks on. And so you got consistent temperature throughout the house. Of course, you can always shut the vent a little bit in one area. You don't want one bedroom with, especially if you live with older people, they will need it hot, warmer or hotter. You know, old people, they get hypothermia at 68 degrees. You got to be careful. They can shut those vents in certain rooms, but the air is always moving. And it's moving all the dust and allergens and stuff to the air purifier and to the vent, AC filter. And when you first start doing that, you're gonna need to replace the filters a little bit more often. But then once it starts getting all that stuff out of the air, you'll notice you'll have less dusting to do. The air purifiers actually do their job, and you have a consistent temperature throughout your entire house, even the bathrooms. And that's something I learned. Even an air purifier filter, spend all the money doing all this stuff trying to keep the air quality good in our house, and then we make that one small mistake. We turn the air conditioning, air movement off. I was waving at a neighbor who got caught with a dog in the sudden downpour. But that's the air conditioning. That's what they call it, air conditioning. It doesn't mean AC, meaning cooling system. It really means air, the conditioning the air. The air can't condition unless it's got air movement. That's why in some rooms, some places, they have ceiling fans. They got the ceiling fans going all the time. That's cooling off the one room, but it's not doing the other. So you think that running the fan on all the time would raise my utility bills. It doesn't. It lowers them actually a little bit. Maybe a lot, depending on this, because the gas or the heat doesn't have to kick in, or the AC part doesn't, or the cooling part doesn't have to kick in. It's just moving a fan. It's like having a floor fan moving the air around. That's what it does. It needs a little help, those things, to be able to work. And I dust less. Constant temperature throughout the house. No suddenly kicking on this or that, the AC or the heat. You hear the gas churning up. And so the temperature in the hallway, where the thermostat is, tends to be the temperature, the right temperature that it knows when to put the heat on, or when it knows when to kick on the AC or the cooling. That's something I learned about that and air purifiers and air conditioning. I hope that helps some of you. Give it a try. If you don't have a totally bonked system, old system that needs some maintenance work, putting that fan on and not auto might help you out, and for sure will help your air purifiers and filtration system out a lot. Anyway, take care, and I'll see you again at another time.